sustaining my cattle and the wild creatures and even the hummingbird in that nest.
And what is so interesting is that you and I come onto the scene and we think of ourselves as real.
We think of ourselves as real?
We do.
Yeah, of course.
And in one sense, that's true. But also think, what is human existence, any creature's existence, except constant change and transition?
Yeah.
So we think of ourselves as real, but in fact, you and I, from moment to moment, are never even the same.
Okay.
Because we're just constant change. And it's just happening in such slow motion from our point of view, we don't feel like we're changing. Mm-hmm. We feel like there's a me.
There's a sense of a constancy of myself. Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
But the material makeup of my body right now in my mid-40s is hardly the same material makeup of the body that came out of my mother's womb.
Right.
I'm like shedding myself all the time.
Yeah.
Dry skin.
Yeah, every 7 years.
Right?
Brand new body.
But the thing that we're inhaling and exhaling, and that everything else is inhaling and exhaling, that's just still there. It's still the same. It's enduring. It's long before us.
I see what you mean by real. So the material self feels very real, even though it's actually changing.
Constant changing and coming out of nothing and going back into the others.
Some visible reality.
Yes.
That's giving me life.
Yes.
That's more constant.
More constant. So, but that's what I mean by real. If we want to compare real and real, in a way, whatever this invisible thing is that's keeping us all alive is much more fundamental and real than you and I are. It was
here before me. It'll be here after me.
That's right.
And it's in and around everything.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. So here's a meditation from Isaiah 40. Humans are like grass. The wind blows and they go away. The wind blows. The ruach. So the ruach becomes an image for what is enduring and permanent and fundamental to all that is. Ruach is a way that the biblical authors are trying to talk about what is primary and like ultimate cause.
Okay.
A fundamental reality without which nothing that exists can exist. And in our minds, it would be something like these forces. Isn't it funny we have to go to the word force? The gravitational force, the strong and weak nuclear force.
That's a great example.
Magnetic force.
The gravitational force is invisible, but it affects everything. And as soon as I start saying, well, what is it as a thing? I can't start talking about it as a chemical. Right. I can't start talking about it as a compound.
Right.
Or any sort of material structure. That's helpful.
Yeah. In our minds, I think gravity or the strong, weak nuclear force and magnetic force is
the air.
Our equivalent of how the biblical authors conceived of ruach.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because here's what's wild is that I encounter that hummingbird and I do some meditation. I'm like, it's more real than anything because it's keeping both of us alive, me and that hummingbird. And it's been here long before me. It'll be here long after me. Yeah. And it's the stuff making the trees move and dance.
It's more powerful than the trees.
Yeah. But it's the same thing I'm inhaling is the same thing making those trees move. What ancient people had as a huge advantage over us is that they aren't as distracted and lulled into apathy and mental laziness as you and I are.
Okay.
And so they just had a lot more time to sit and meditate on like the fundamentals of human existence.
Watch an animal breathe.
Yes.
Think about it.
Totally. So what they just intuitively put together is the stuff moving the trees, is the stuff that me and that hummingbird are inhaling and exhaling. It's keeping me alive. It's got to be fundamental to all life because it has to precede any living thing because it's the thing that all living things depend on.
Okay.
So it's pretty cosmic. Whatever this thing is, it's cosmic. It's more permanent and real than anything I see.
Yeah.
And what do you want called that?
What do you want to call that?
And ruach is the biblical word for that. So let's dive into some examples.
Okay.
I think will be helped immensely. So first, let's just look at some examples of what we would call wind.
Okay.
And notice that this wind is directly connected to God.
It's God's wind.
Yeah, it's God's wind. So wind for us is impersonal. It's just like an energy, impersonal energy blowing around, not for the biblical authors, which is why they use this word. So the first line of the Bible, in the beginning, God created the skies and the land. Now the land was wild and waste, and darkness was over the face of the deep waters, and the Ruach Elohim was fluttering over the surface of the waters. There's a lot of layers to this that I don't want to get into, but I just want to note that the Ruach Elohim is doing some kind of wind-like activity, hovering or fluttering. It's the word used to describe a bird's wings flapping over the waters.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's not just simply wind, but it has wind.
Wind-like qualities.
Wind-like qualities, yes.
Yeah, you can imagine wind whipping over water.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see it. You can see the effects. There you go.
There you go.
You can see the effects of it. Okay. That's in the background of these other instances I want to look at. So after the flood, the great flood story of Noah and the ark and the animals, the key turning point in the flood storm, when it all changes and the flood waters stop rising and they start receding and lowering, is in Genesis 8, verse 1, where God causes a ruach to pass over the land and the water subsides. It's very clearly like a wind.
Causes a wind.
Pushing the waters back.
And what's different is, in Genesis 1, it was the Ruach Elohim.
That's right.
And this is just a Ruach.
Yeah, here it's God doing something to a Ruach. It's a little bit, it's a tweak on Genesis 1, which is God's Ruach, and this is now God making a Ruach blow over. Which you could say, well, I guess if God can do that with a Ruach, you could say that's God's Ruach. But it is creating a bit of a distinction.
It feels different from, this is my personal presence you're experiencing, versus I am animating something other than me.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. And that is the most common use of Ruach in our categories of wind, when it gets translated wind. So in the famous parting of the Sea of Reeds in the Exodus story, where the Israelites go through on dry land, Pharaoh and his army are destroyed in the waters. The waters are parted because Exodus 14, verse 21, Moses stretched out his hand all that night. Yahweh drove the sea back with a strong eastern ruach, ruach from the east, and turned it into dry land. So actually very similar, it's echoing the flood story.
Okay.
So this is a very common use of ruach. It's associated with blowing the clouds in that bring rain. So there's many descriptions of storms in the Bible that use the word ruach to talk about the force, the invisible force, making those white puffy things up in the air move and drop their rain.
Okay. So that is ruach, but it's not God's ruach. It's ruach that God is using.
But God's connected to it. It's under the direction of God.
Yeah.
So in one sense, you could say it's God's ruach. In another sense, you could say it's something distinct from God. And actually, that's so important. Okay. This is important. From one angle, it's God's ruach, Genesis 1, verse 2. But then from another angle, Genesis 8, verse 1, it's something distinct from God. It's God who is above and beyond all, but yet it's God, when I want to talk about that above and beyond all God, interfacing and within, in the terrarium, present in the terrarium.
Yeah.
Ruach is one of the key words used to describe that personal presence. So what's so tricky is then signaling that personal presence is what is behind uses of the word ruach that we would call spirit. Gets translated spirit or spirit of God. So like in Genesis 1 verse 2, the spirit of God fluttering over the waters.
Okay.
Or the hundreds of uses of the word ruach that is just the phrase, the spirit of Yahweh, or the spirit of God. So when the prophets or when kings, I'm just literally sampled at random. Here's a moment from the book of Judges, chapter 6, where there's a tribal chieftain named Gideon who does this great battle rescue of the Israelites from certain death. We're told that he was empowered by God's spirit, but specifically it's the phrase, the ruach of Yahweh clothed Gideon. enrobed Gideon.
Okay, so this is the same word for wind.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to make a decision here. Am I going to translate it wind or spirit?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the ancient Hebrew thinker didn't have to make that decision. So they're just saying the wind spirit of Yahweh clothed
Gideon. And what's interesting, it's not saying, this is not a description of the day he was born and took his first breath.
Right.
He's an adult.
Yeah.
He's been breathing for a lot of years.
Something new.
Something remarkable happened to him that day. So remarkable that this incredible, against all odds, rescue of his people happened when there were violent, armed soldiers attacking them. And the only way you could account for that preservation of life in the face of death is something happened to that guy. Like he got the extra breath that day. He took some extra deep breaths. I don't know. He was super oxygenated. But it was the Ruach of God that gave him his first breath, but then gave him some special breaths that day. I'm using my English words to try and get at this. So there's the Ruach of God. When you want to tie it to the one who is above and beyond and creates and sustains all things, you can talk about as the Ruach of God.
And when you do that, you're specifically talking about the activity of God, usually.
Yeah.
Right?
But you're trying to tie it to the person of God.
But you're tying it to the person of God.
That's right. It's not just a mindless force.
Right.
You're tapping into the person, the someone who is behind all things.
Yeah.
But the Ruach is the way of talking about the one who is above and beyond and behind all things, being personally involved in the nitty and gritty of all the change and events and the flux of human history and human life. The Ruach is the way the biblical authors are uniting the divine and the human, the divine creator and creation. It's the meeting place of the two. It's the Ruach. It's a remarkable word. I think that's why years ago we actually were excited about the word energy.
Yeah. To find a word that does the same work. Years ago when we had this conversation, I was trying to use the word spirit when I referred to wind. Not in conversation, because that's weird, I guess. But like to myself in a poetic way. Like, oh, the spirit moving through the trees.
Yeah.
I'm breathing in the spirit.
Yeah.
But what's uncomfortable about it is then I start to conflate that with God's personal energy.
Right.
Which I'm like, oh, but it's different. But I think that's actually
part of the point.
Part of the point. The discomfort I'm supposed to feel, the tension I'm feeling.
When you just said that, the discomfort was saying, I'm breathing in God.
Yes.
Because I think that why that makes you uncomfortable is because when you breathe in God, all of a sudden, what that language can make you think is, I've contained God.
Yeah.
But I think part of what this concept is trying to invite us to see is actually the opposite. It's actually, I'm contained within God. And everything that I am is sustained and is within and because of God's Ruach. So anytime I'm inhaling Ruach, it is God in me. But all that is God in me as a part of an ecosystem in which I am in
now,
God.
how clearly are they thinking that category? Because, like when we looked at Genesis 8, God caused a Ruach. It could have said, and God's Ruach parted the waters.
Yeah, that's right.
And been more explicit.
Sure.
So there seems to be this understanding that while I am enveloped by God and I exist within God, it isn't as simple as I'm breathing in God.
Yeah, this is so great, man. This is so great. This is such an ancient conversation in Jewish and Christian tradition.
Okay.
We're trying to name one thing, but it's so super real that we can only name it with two different names.
Okay, what are you talking about?
That feel opposite to us.
Okay.
What we're trying to say is, core claim, Jewish and Christian tradition, something that exists cannot be the author of its own existence. Something whose existence depends on something else can't have brought about its own existence.
Yeah.
And everything that you and I encounter visibly with our five senses is something whose existence is actually dependent on something before it. So it's real, but it's real as a kind of dependent real. So there must be something like whatever it is that's highest up the chain of cause and effect has to be something that isn't dependent on any other thing for its existence. This is one of the classical kind of ways of thinking about God as the unmoved mover, the first primary cause. So by the word God, we're designating the one who is. The one who is, Yahweh.
Yeah.
The one who is. So that's key. So anything that is, then is because God is, which means that in a way it's in God, or its existence is dependent and sustained by God. Okay. So that could very quickly lead you, though, to think like, oh, so I guess I'm God. Because I only exist in and
from within God.
From within God.
It's like a little gut bacteria being like, I'm human.
Yeah, so now we have to flip and we have to say what we're dealing with in the Jewish Christian claim of God as the creator of all things is that God exists in and of God's self, but God has also, by God's will, chosen that something else should exist other than God as itself, as a thing to exist with its own identity other than God. So precisely for relationship. It's like God's the generous host, that phrase. And while that thing that God has brought into existence is not God, it has a kind of independence, but that independence is relative because it only exists in full dependence on God. So how do you develop language for talking about
something that's independent but still fully dependent?
A dependent independence. And its very existence can only exist if the one who is pervades and sustains and keeps it alive.
Yeah.
And so Ruach Elohim is one of the ways the biblical authors are talking about that metaphysical concept.
Okay.
Is that it's God, the Ruach Elohim, Genesis 1 verse 2. But then also, once God has brought something into being with its own relative independence, the way God personally interacts with it, but as its own thing. And that's what you get with Genesis 8 verse 1. God causes a Ruach. And there we're like, oh, it's wind. So it's not God.
Right.
But it's, I don't know, man. We're at the coincidence of opposites here.
Okay, so if I'm an ancient thinker and you're telling me the story and I say, you're telling me Elohim caused a Ruach, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the God of the universe, the first mover, within which I exist and everything has life, is causing spirit to push out these chaos waters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so am I kind of simultaneously thinking it's an independent thing from God, but also in some way
is God. Yeah.
I am thinking both things.
It's distinct from God because it's right here in creation. I can feel it and I inhale it. I can even contain it within my lungs.
Yeah.
So
obviously it can't be God.
So that can't be the whole of who God is. That can't be all that God is.
Sure.
In the same way that I am not God in the sense I am not all that God is. But yet, in another sense, I am filled with the Ruach of God. And I only exist because of the Ruach of God. And so, in some way, I do really participate.
Now, is there a verse, I think in Job or something we looked at before, that kind of makes it pretty explicit that it's the Ruach of Elohim in you that keeps...
I mean, we're going to get there.
We'll get there.
But yes, just to make it clear, Job, in Job 27, says, the Ruach of God is in my nostrils.
Yeah.
It's the same phrase as Genesis 1 verse 2, Ruach Elohim.
Okay.
Is in my nostrils.
Okay. Yeah.
God's in my nostrils.
Yeah.
By which he doesn't mean like all that God is above and beyond is in my nose.
Sure.
But that something very real that is divine and comes from the divine as God's gift to me, as someone who's both contained in God and other than God, is in me. It's, I guess, a classic version of a paradox. How can all creation be both distinct from God, but yet wholly dependent and participate in God's existence?
Yeah.
And the word Ruach of God, in Genesis 1 verse 2, or God causing a Ruach to blow within creation, Genesis 8 verse 1, are two ways of stating that paradox.
Okay.
And, within human knowledge, we're to the point where is it this or is it that? Because both seem real. Usually that's the invitation to the greater thing that transcends them both. And the limit is just my limited understanding. There's a whole other set of uses of ruach in the Hebrew Bible, but the only word I can think of that does justice to these uses is our word mind. So, for example, in Genesis 41, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, has a dream about these wonderful 7 cows grazing by a stream, and then these 7 mutant nightmare cows come up from the land and then devour the healthy cows. So, and what we're told is that he wakes up in the morning and his ruach was agitated. His ruach was troubled.
The Pharaoh's.
Yeah, Pharaoh's.
After dreaming this thing.
Yeah. So he sends for the magicians of Egypt. Nobody can tell him what his dream means. He comes across this Hebrew slave who can tell him what it means. And what he says is we'll look at in a couple conversations. But his ruach is troubled.
Yeah.
So I guess it could mean that his breathing was...
Couldn't breathe quite well.
Yeah. But here, let's stack this alongside another example. Numbers 14 was the story of Moses sending the spies into the land. And 10 of the 12 spies come back with a report that's like, no, there's giants in the land. They're going to kill us. We can't go in there. God can't rescue us. And a guy named Caleb and Joshua say, no, the Lord can deliver us. Like, he brought us out of Egypt. He can do this. And when God compares Caleb to the 10 spies who didn't trust him, what he says is, Caleb has a different ruach, and he has followed me fully. When David is sharing the blueprints for the temple in Jerusalem, he says that he had a dream and he saw the blueprints in like a divine dream that God gave him. It says that he gives to Solomon the plan, then this blueprint plan, and the plan of all the temple that was in the ruach with him.
The plan of everything that was in the ruach with him.
Yeah. So there's a ruach with him. I guess you could say it's his ruach.
Yeah.
And
the plans were in there.
The plan of the temple are in his ruach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
that feels a lot like mine.
Yeah. So there's many more examples like this, but we're talking about the same thing. Like I think our closest is
Psyche?
Our concept of an idea.
Oh, right.
Like, what is a concept? What is an idea?
And where does it live?
Human. That's right.
Yeah.
Like if you come to me and share an idea, which you have many times over the course of this project, like if I got an X-ray, like a CAT scan or whatever,
an MRI
and scanned your brain.
Yeah, where would you see it?
Am I going to see the idea molecule?
Right.
You know, it's a very mysterious part of human cognition.
Yeah,
is what we call ideas or concepts
or information.
Information. So I don't want to try and do a full discussion of that, but to say it's very intuitive to say that you came into contact with something.
Yeah.
That was outside you.
Yeah.
That you received from somewhere outside you.
The inspiration.
And because you and I, in biblical thought, are porous, our bodies and our hearts and minds and will are porous, things can enter into us from the outside, like an idea, like a plan to build a building.
Yeah.
And then you share it with somebody else, and what you could say was your ruach, because it's invisible. It comes from within you.
Yeah.
But also came to you from outside. So it went into you. You received it from somewhere, some input you got.
Yeah.
Then you somehow think about it, whatever thinking is. And then you say something or do something. And now that invisible thing that came to you is within you and then goes out of you, has a visible effect in the world. Now there's a building where there wasn't one before. And one of the words for that in biblical Hebrew is ruach. That we have to use the word mind at that point. But ruach.
Yeah, mind not meaning your brain, mind meaning that
Hmm.
that invisible processing,
Yeah.
storing,
Mhm.
contemplating, communicating these abstract,
Yeah.
invisible things.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in David's case, I think why it's phrased in this unique way, in the Ruach that was with him, is it wants you to see this as both something that's David's Ruach, but also that comes to him from God. Because we're told that it was a divine blueprint that he saw.
Right.
So it was both his Ruach and God's Ruach. In other words, Ruach is the point at which the divine and human meet. And the point at which God can influence humans by uniting with them in this invisible way.
Yeah. So, thinking like an ancient, you got this invisible Ruach energy. I'm breathing it in. It's sustaining everything. And at some point, I need to start talking about my own sense of mindful agency. And it's this invisible part of me that's very real and almost more real to a sense of myself than anything. And the word I have also is Ruach. And we call that the human spirit. But just like there's this blurring between, is that the spirit of God in the trees, or is that a Ruach
that God sent?
That God sent.
It's like something other than God.
Yeah. There's a tension there, but there's also a tension in like, is this my spirit? Or am I being filled with the Spirit of God?
Exactly. Yes.
And this is my spirit because I'm an independent creature made in God's image, but I'm independent. But then I can't exist without God's.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So right there at that intersection of divine and human, there's a mystery. And that's very much at the heart of what the biblical authors are trying to say. And so what's so fascinating, we'll look at some of these passages later on in the series. So the Apostle Paul, in his letter to Corinthians, we call it 1 Corinthians, knows these people intimately. He planted the church in Corinth. There's a bunch of terrible things happening from his point of view going on. He wishes he could be there, but he can't right now, so he's writing a letter. And so there's a bunch of instances in chapter 5 of 1 Corinthians where he talks about, hey, listen, right now at this moment, I am absent from you guys in body. Like I'm not physically present with you. But what he says is, I am, this 1 Corinthians 5 verse 3, I am present en pneuma, with you. Where he says in verse 4, in the name of our Lord Jesus, when you are assembled together, and I am with you in pneuma. And so our translators have a challenge right there. Because what he's saying is that because God's Spirit is there with you, gathering with you when you gather, and because I am connected to God's Spirit right now, through God's Spirit, it's like I'm with you. Is that what he's saying?
Okay.
Or is what he's saying is my spirit is so joined and connected with you and with God's Spirit, anytime you guys get together, I'm there. So the debate in English translations is, do you capitalize the word spirit?
Is this Paul's
here?
spirit or God's spirit?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the longer I've sat with that paradox of how to translate spirit right here in 1 Corinthians 5, I've begun to wonder if the point isn't the paradox. Paul is with them, but not because he's physically there, but because he is united to God's Spirit, and God's Spirit is united to them. And there's passages in John that we could look at of when Jesus says, I will be in you, my disciples, and you'll be in me, and we'll be in the Father. So this isn't just a Hebrew Bible thing. This idea of the union of God and creation, of divine and human, is part of the point of the word Ruach. And it's pretty intuitive, because the hummingbird and I are both depending on something that's not us to keep us alive. And that long precedes us, and that also blows in the trees. What do you want to call that? And that's the fundamental meaning of Ruach.
Okay.
So essentially what we just did was what we took about 3 hours to kind of work through
Yeah.
years ago. We did
Yeah.
a little more that we're going to fill out more, but that's the first step.
Okay. That's the refresher.
So I guess if there's a million unanswered questions right now that just got raised,
Yeah, there
that's
are.
very much the point.
Yeah. Okay.
That we'll begin to address all the loose ends
Yeah.
as we go forward.
Okay.
What we should look at next then is how Ruach is fundamentally associated with what we would call life, but also with death. Ruach is talking about the knife's edge between life and death that all living creatures live on. So we'll look at a whole bunch of biblical texts about that.
That's it for today's episode. Next week, we're going to explore how the Spirit of God is the originator and sustainer of life, and how thinking about the Spirit in this way draws attention to our own mortality.
This is the biblical author's way of exploring humans as frail, as mortal, as not sustaining their own existence.
And we'll look at how the story of the Bible is an invitation for the mortal to somehow become more.
Whatever immortal
Spirit of the living God, thou light and fire divine, descend upon thy church once more and make it truly thine. Fill it with love and joy and power, with righteousness and peace, till Christ shall dwell in human hearts and sin and sorrow cease. Blow, wind of God, with wisdom blow, until our minds are free from myths of error, clouds of doubt, which blind our eyes to thee. Burn winged fire, inspire our lips with flaming love and zeal, to preach to all thy great good news, God's glorious commonweal. So shall we know the power of Christ, who came this world to save. So shall we rise with him to life, which soars beyond the grave. And earth shall win true holiness, which makes thy children whole, till perfected by thee we reach creation's glorious
Wait for me there, hand like a hook in the air, and your bright blue eyes like a green traffic light up ahead. I'm coming, I swear, just gotta comb my hair, push my way through the crushing weight on my chest. But I won't go back to all that trouble I've been through. I won't go drag you into the shadows I know too well. Someday It's like colors that I've never seen. And I need to be in it. Lifted clear from my bed. And finally stepping in the right direction, yeah. No, I won't go back to all that trouble I've been through. I won't go sweat to you someday. I'll get out of my own way, baby. Out into the sunlit pavement somewhere. Wind in my head. Step away, clean and empty. Start again like I'm meant to be somewhere. So much better than it. Oh, you know I gotta stay with it. Start again like I'm meant to be. Free and easy. With a new name and a mystery. Don't know what you call me, but you can call me. Come now through all of it, downtown and tenement, through dark clouds all circling. Our house like a tourniquet, when the front door splinters in, you come down the hall unfaltering, your lips licked and shimmering. Leaning in and I'm vanishing. I close my eyes and you arrive. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just a dream until you see it happening. In the plaza afterwards, I saw you rise up out of your collared shirt. On the horizon, there was another world. We left the phantom head and we ran for her. I close my eyes and we're alive. And that's a blinding light. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. But it's just a dream until it, just like we want it, just like we need it. Why can't we just like her? Who says we can't? Who says we can't? Who says we shouldn't? Who says we couldn't?